Hi guys, today is another Will I Buy It video, and there's some really beautiful holiday releases coming up, so we'll take a look at those. And as usual, I will put on the screen the Instagram page that I am referring to. So I'm going to move over here, so there's some room up to the left of me where I will put the photos up of the products that I am referring to. So I'm going to start off looking at the Instagram page by Chic Profile Official, and that is Tavia's Instagram page. And it looks like there are some tweed blushes coming. Now I have heard that these aren't going to be new shades, but they will have the tweed embossing on them. Of course, I'm not sure. So hopefully there are some new shades, but I think this is going to be really beautiful. I also think this will be really popular. And even though on her page she has hashtagged Chanel Holiday 2022, I don't think these are going to be part of any holiday collection. I get the feeling that they'll probably be released sometime next year. They'll probably tease it out for a while, just like they did with the tweed eyeshadows, which were absolutely beautiful. But I am really looking forward to these when we do know they're going to be launched, and I'm really excited to get my hands on them. Hopefully they do come to New Zealand. And then we've got Dior Holiday 2022, and these are the two clutches. Now, the first clutch with the quint, and there are two blushes and a highlighter, as well as the 4 lipsticks. I spoke about those in my last Will I Buy It video, but since then the 5-pan eyeshadow palette has appeared, and I think these shades look really lovely. They're nothing extraordinary, they are everyday shades, but I do like those. Now I bought last year's palette and I have used it a few times. I love the clutch type packaging that they come in. I do think that they're really lovely. But I'm not sure whether this year I will buy either of them or both of them or none of them. There are a lot of releases coming up, so I need to be a bit more careful in what I buy, because I want to make sure that I do get the use out of the products as well as reviewing them for you. But if you haven't tried these palettes before, they are really lovely, and they would also make a really beautiful gift. And there's also a few other pictures of, they are Dior gift sets, either for someone or for yourself. And they include things like the Miss Dior perfume, then there's a lipstick and possibly a hand cream. I can't quite see in the picture, but they would make lovely gifts as well. And they do come in that beautiful packaging. I think it looks really, really gorgeous. And also one of the gift packages is the Capture Total from Dior, their skincare. Now I have the Capture Total foundation and I think it's really, really beautiful, but I haven't tried any of the Dior skincare. This is something that I may consider getting since I haven't tried any of the Dior Capture skincare, and this would be a really good way of testing it out. And next up we have Dior Backstage, and it looks like there's going to be a couple of different eyeshadow palettes. There also looks to be the lip maximizers as well as the lip glows. Now out of the two eyeshadow palettes, if I was going to buy either of them, it would be the green and not the other one that leans more red. I've bought a couple of palettes this year. One was also a Dior one that had a red shade in it. I thought I would give it another go, but red just does not look good on me, so I would be skipping that. But I would be interested in getting the one with the green shades in it. They call this the 008 Khaki Neutrals, and the other one is 009 that is called the Burgundy Neutrals. Now I really like the Dior Backstage palettes. I have about 4 or 5 of them. I think the formula is really lovely. I think they give great payoff as well. And in the top left corner of each palette is an eyeshadow primer, and I do use that when I use these palettes. It's a really good primer. And usually in these palettes you've got like mattes and shimmers and possibly metallic as well. And there could be maybe one topper shade, but I really like these eyeshadows. I just think they perform really, really beautiful. Now with the Lip Maximizer, I probably wouldn't get the more red one, although it does look really beautiful. I'd probably get the other one that's shown with the khaki palette. I think that's more of an everyday shade with me. And then it has the Lip Glow, and that is green. I imagine it won't be green at all. It'll just give a little bit of gloss. Something similar to what Suku put out earlier this year, and that was really lovely. And I think the one that Suku put out was actually a lip gloss, and it had a green hue to it, but it didn't show green on the lips at all. It was actually really, really lovely. So maybe for the khaki palette, I won't get the burgundy palette, and maybe the Lip Maximizer, the one that looks more neutral. And then we have Chanel Holiday. I think this collection looks really lovely. I probably wouldn't pick up everything that's in this collection, but there are a few things that I think I will pick up. This looks like it's going to be launching in the UK the first week of November, and it has a launch date in Japan of the 28th of October. So I'm not quite sure what date it is launching here in New Zealand. We usually do get the Chanel Holiday, so hopefully it'll be around the same time, hopefully that first week of November. So first of all, we'll take a look at the Chanel Les Faux Ombres. It's the eyeshadow palette. It's number 937. It's Ombre de Lune. So this collection looks to be all about the celestial and based around the moon. Now, there are a few people that are saying this Chanel eyeshadow palette looks a bit bland, a bit boring, a bit the same-ish. I just love Chanel eyeshadows. I'm a big fan of Chanel, and I think this looks really beautiful. I think the embossing is really lovely. And when I zoom right in, it has imprints of what would be on the moon, especially in the outline. It's either the Chanel bottle or the Mademoiselle bottle. And in the top right, there is the Chanel logo. So it appears to look like either embossing based around the moon or some type of celestial embossing. I think it's really lovely. This is a neutral palette, possibly leans a bit warm. It has a really beautiful gold in there as well. And providing I can get my hands on this, I will be picking up this eyeshadow from Chanel. I think it's really, really lovely. And what looks really interesting in this Chanel Holiday collection, and these are the two highlighting powders they're called, and they are oversized. So I imagine they're going to be the same size as what the Chanel bronzers, the oversized ones that were released earlier this year. And because they're going to be in such a big palette, makes me think that they're going to be much more subtle. They're not going to be a type of wet look of highlighter, otherwise you wouldn't need such a big pan. I think they're going to be much more subtle and ones that can be used all over the face. So the two shades that are going to be released is Or Rose, except in China, and then there's Couvre Doré, which is for the Western markets only. So for me, I'm probably more interested in the Or Rose. I'm not too sure about the other one. It may be too dark, but these are ones that I probably would need to see in person before I pick them up. So if I'm able to travel up to the Auckland boutique and see these in person before I buy them, that's what I'm going to do, because there can be a big difference from how pictures appear in Instagram photos or pre-launch photos as to how they are when you swatch them and what they are like on your skin. So I'd really like to see them in person. I'll just have to see whether I'm able to get up to Auckland or not when it's released. And another really interesting product in here is the Color Duo. This is the Lumiere. This is limited edition. And it is a multi-purpose product featuring 2 gel colors with glitter that adds luster and shine to the eyeshadow, but can also be used for eyebrows and eyelashes. So I think this is really interesting. I'm not too sure how a gel would go over eyeshadow, whether it would emphasize texture and with my oily eyelids, even though I do wear eyeshadow primer, whether it would slide around during the day, I'm not too sure. This is another thing that I would really like to see in person, but I think they could possibly also be used as a highlight, just right up through here. I think they'll probably look really lovely, and possibly could be used as a topper over a lipstick as well. So I'd really like to see these in person and be able to touch them and swatch them, but I am really interested in those. And there's also going to be 4 Rouge Allure L'Extrait lipsticks, and 2 of these are going to be re-promote shades, and I haven't got a picture of those, but the 2 that I've got up beside me here, they are limited edition ones. And it is 817 Rouge Serene and 827 Brun Renier. The other 2 shades that aren't in the picture, they are Rouge Royale and Rouge Rose Invincible. And there's also going to be 2 Rouge Allure Lacs, and these are limited edition shades. They're going to be number 88 Rose Mistral and 89 Rouge Ombres. So out of the 4 lipsticks that are shown in the picture, probably the one that I'm most interested is one of the Lacs, and probably the one Rose Mistral. I think that could be really, really pretty. So I am quite interested in picking that one up. I think the other shades look really beautiful too, but this is quite a big collection, so I really just want to pick and choose and be quite selective with what I get, because I want to use what I buy. And there's also going to be 2 nail polishes and a top coat. I think all of these look really lovely. I probably won't get the red because I have a couple of Chanel red nail polishes. I know this one is going to be a different shade red, but I don't really wear red a lot, probably more in the holiday season. But I am really interested in one. It looks, although it's almost a khaki green, possibly, I'm just going to zoom in the picture, there looks like to be a little bit of glitter in it as well, and I think that could be a really pretty shade. I also like the look of the top coat. I think that looks really interesting as well, and whether it would change the look of other nail polishes. I really love the Chanel nail polishes. They wear really well, and the one I'm wearing at the moment is the Chanel one. It's from the Fall collection. They are just really, really beautiful. So definitely the khaki gold looking one and also the top coat, but I will be passing on the red one. And there's also a gold body oil that's in 250 mils, and also a Coco Mademoiselle, the Pearly Body Gel, 250 mils. And both of these are also going to be limited edition. Now I'm really interested in both of these. I think both would be really, really lovely. I really enjoy the body oil that Chanel put out earlier this year. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm definitely interested in trying both of these out. I think these would be really, really lovely. And in my last Will I Buy It video, I did put up a picture and briefly talk about the upcoming, it's the Chanel, the Sublimage Concealer, and hopefully this is going to be launched soon. What I do know about it is that initially I thought from the pictures that there was only like 3 or 4 shades, but there's actually going to be 10 shades, which isn't still a great range, but better than the 4 that I originally thought that it was going to come in. So I'm really looking forward to trying out this concealer. I think it's going to be super moisturizing. I just hope that it's one that gives, doesn't have to be full coverage, but gives a medium type of coverage. And I love a concealer that is moisturizing because it's just perfect for mature skin. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then finally we'll take a look at Pat McGrath Holiday 2022. This is a really big holiday collection that she's putting out. Now the largest palette has already been released. Now I am not picking this up. I do like Pat McGrath eyeshadows and I have a few of her bigger palettes, but I don't really reach for them. And I know that she's well known for and loved for those really foiled metallic shades. But when I wear them, I just think for me they are just a little bit too much. And although that I think that the biggest palette looks really, really beautiful. I just know that most of the shades in this I just won't reach for. What I do like about it is that they have divided it into the neutral, the cool and the warm, and I know now by just looking at this photo that the 6 shades that I love, and probably the only ones that I would use out of this palette, and that would be the neutral side. I do think they look really, really lovely. As I was saying, I do like the Pat McGrath formula. I do think her shadows are beautiful. It's just that I don't reach for them with my everyday makeup. Now initially I was quite interested in these 5 pan palettes, but when I've zoomed in and seen the swatches of them, these are really highly foiled or metallic shades as well. And I'd probably like the cooler out of the 2 if I was going to buy either of them, but I'm going to pass on them both. I just know that I won't reach for them. I think they would be really beautiful to try out, and they probably would look stunning on, but it's just not something that I would wear every day. Now if I was going to get anything out of this collection, it would probably be the 2 Divine Blush and Glow Cheek palettes. I think they look really beautiful. I do have one of her blushes and it performs just beautifully. I really love them. So now that I'm having a good look at the blushes, they are something that I may pick up. I probably won't get both, maybe just choose one of them, but because I know they perform so beautifully, this would be worthwhile getting. And then you've got the Pat McGrath highlighter. Now I have had a Pat McGrath highlighter in the past, and for me it's just too wet looking on the skin. It's just too much. I really do prefer a much more subtle highlight, but there are people that absolutely love it and they look absolutely beautiful with it on. It's just that it's not for me, and I do find that they tend to emphasize my texture, which I don't personally like, but it does look beautiful. The embossing looks beautiful on the highlighter. And then we've also got another single blush, and this is the Venusian Nude one, and this looks actually really beautiful and it is quite subtle. So maybe I might choose between either the blush sets, the blush and glow cheek palettes, or maybe just one of the blushes. Now Pat McGrath does ship to New Zealand, and in the past it's been a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes they can come really quickly and other times I've misplaced my order, although I haven't heard anything this year where orders have been misplaced or anything like that. So maybe I might pick up one of the blushes. I just need to decide which one, but I am loving the look of that single blush. I think it looks really, really pretty. And then there are a couple of matte trance lipsticks. I have a few Pat McGrath lipsticks, not many, probably about 3 or 4. I do like her formula. I won't be picking these up. One of them just looks a bit too nude, and I think it hasn't got quite enough of a pinky base for me. And the other one is a really beautiful red, but I wouldn't really get the wear out of it, so I'd pass on the lipsticks. Now these mascaras are super bright and I think they're actually going to be quite popular. Now I wouldn't wear any of these colours all by themselves, but I think you could tone them down. You could put on your normal mascara and just add a little bit of the colour. I think that could look quite pretty, but these just aren't for me. I just stick to my black mascara. I love my Chanel Le Volume, and just recently also re-loved again the Bobbi Brown the Smoky Eye Mascara. I'm not looking to get any others. I do think these look really lovely, and I'm going to be really interested in the reviews once of these have been released and different creators on YouTube try them out. I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing what they look like, because I think they're going to look beautiful on so many people. It's just that they are not for me. And there's also 2 Dior Quints that are coming. These are also based around a celestial type of embossing, and I think both of those look really beautiful as well. And I mentioned them in my last Will I Buy It video. Now at Saks Fifth Avenue, these did pop up a few days ago. They weren't for sale, but they were either for pre-order or to put on a wish list. I'm not sure whether they're still there, but I did put the link to that on my community page, and if they are still there, I will put the link in the description box below if you want to take a look at them. But I'm not too sure of their exact release date, but I think both of those look really lovely. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Bye.